So Osiris Reborn just dropped a massive new trailer that sneakily hid details on how the story begins.
My suggestion? Eros.
And we got to hear our twins' voice for the very first time.
I'll pass. Other options?
All throughout the trailer, we see a bunch of new environments we'll shoot around in, so let's break down all the new story and environment details starting from the top, while keeping it spoiler-free. The trailer begins with a spacewalk outside Pinkwater 4, one of the environments we'll get to visit in-game. We can see the outer arms of the station spinning in the next shot, followed by a schematic of the station in the middle here. But this shot also shows us a much darker theme. We can see this is a control room and a dead body is close by. Another body is on the opposite side. So whatever we're seeing here is a flycam on Pinkwater 4 station, where the control room has been eliminated. We'll come back to this in a bit. After this, we see another shot in Pinkwater 4, which we can tell by the screens in the background. There's also a galley here, which I assume is for the security workers to hang out in. In the Expanse universe, Pinkwater is a private security firm with contracts throughout the system. And we already know that our character is a Pinkwater security mercenary, so it's no surprise to see the security station as one of the main environments. In the next shot, we're in some type of admin room, and the only thing I could find that's significant is a screen that says Celestial Credits on it. I've never heard of this in the Expanse universe before, but if you know something, please let me know in the comments. After this, we start seeing Ganymede, but before we analyze those shots, we have to talk about the audio playing over the Pinkwater visuals, because it includes the first ever audio of our captain's twin.
Ground control to Private J. Says you daydreaming again? I am. See, so we just need to shoot a few more unlucky bastards and done. Us two merry mercs can finally have some shore leave. Where are you hoping we dock? How about Ganymede?
So a few new things here. Our twin's name is Jay, which the Osiris Reborn's Twitter confirms. And I'm not entirely sure, but I think Jay called us C. Not sure if that's a nickname and if Jay is a shortened nickname too, but we'll go with Jay and the captain for now. Also, fun fact that both twins are voiced by the same person, Alice Himura. I'm not sure of any other games they've worked on, but clearly their vocal range between the two twins is incredible. During the twins' conversation, Jay was saying how both of them just need to do one more security contract before taking a break. And while they were discussing where to take their shore leave, the captain suggested they visit Ganymede, which is the next new environment we see. Here we're in a transportation node area, followed by a gorgeous shot of the crops that Ganymede is famous for. Without these crops, much of the outer planets and the belt wouldn't be able to survive, which is why the amount of food here is so vast. We can see how they get the crops so well nourished with the pentagonal mirrors outside this dome. Since Ganymede is all the way by Jupiter, multiple mirrors are needed to direct plenty of sunlight onto the crops. However, even though things seem all happy and full of sunshine, we once again get a glimpse of a darker undertone. The next shot shows us a corridor that's dimly lit with plants strewn about. And right near the end, we see a sign that's in the same color scheme as Ganymede's other signs. So what we're seeing here is likely Ganymede after some type of conflict, which again is similar to what we saw before on Pinkwater 4. Keep this in mind because I'll come back to it later. After that corridor, we see the engineering section of Ganymede, which we actually saw in the previous trailer too. Then there's a shot of a transit pod area also on Ganymede. The main things I've noticed in these couple of shots are the number of areas that look like cover. So I'm guessing that on Ganymede, a lot of the fighting will take place in these transportation areas and engineering too. Now, while these Ganymede shots are happening, the conversation between the twins continues.
How about Ganymede? Fresh veggies from the domes, no damn tube protein. And some cranky Martian Marines itching for a fight with their UNN counterparts. I'll pass. Other options? Ceres?
And Ceres just so happens to be the next location we see. But before we discuss the Ceres shots, we have to break down this latest back and forth. The captain was discussing how Ganymede has fresh veggies from the domes, which we saw earlier. As mercenaries, they both probably spend a lot of time on ships, so they're likely very sick of eating bland protein tubes. As to if Jay wants to visit Ganymede on shore leave though, she replies that it has Martian and UNN Marines itching for a fight. This observation is probably related to the darker undertones from earlier, but again, I'll go over that later. Then, after Jay nixes Ganymede, the captain suggests they relax on Ceres, which we see next. While nothing here screams Ceres, if we compare it to the concept art that the Twitter account shared, it's basically identical. This illustration was tagged as being Ceres in the post, and the actual 3D environment came out really nicely. After this, we see another shot of Ceres with a couple ads by these railings. One ad sports an unrivaled VR set of goggles, and the other is an ad for Star Helix, the private security firm based from Earth. Next, we see a grungier area of Ceres and what looks like a small shop we might be able to eat at. Then we reach a shot that looks like a docking area. The background sign says Ships Arrivals and Departure Schedule, and Ceres Station. Longcar Solutions is likely a company that shuttles people to and from Ceres. And over here, we see a medical ad for prosthetics. It says that you can discover a world without limitations with advanced prosthetics. So who knows, maybe us or one of our companions could feature prosthetics. And again, while everything seems on the up and up, this wall paints the true picture. The graffiti written here says, "Go back to your planet." Historically, most belters like those on Ceres despise anyone from the inner planets, which this graffiti hints at. We also see on the left wall the letters OPA, which stands for the Outer Planets Alliance. Jay will tell us more about them later. After this, there's an area with more shops and ads that didn't seem to have anything too significant, which is then followed by a club or restaurant shot, which has a sign that says, "Gravity is optional, good drinks aren't." Yep, that sums up Ceres alright. There weren't any new tidbits in any of the photos or the poster here that I could see. Then, we see a top-down shot of a Ceres bar area. One of the bars is called Concussion, and a smaller shop over here is called Nexus Tool. And we finally see one last shot of a multi-floor area of Ceres that doesn't have anything significant either. Now, while Ceres itself didn't tell us much about the story, the twins' conversation definitely does.
Ceres? I look a bit grim sometimes. And OPA extremists are working overtime to set the station on fire. But it is the largest port in the belt, with a bar guide the size of the UNN's desk jockey manual. You told me you were tired of bars just yesterday. I said I'm tired of drinking with Luciana. She remembers too much and me too little.
Okay, we got a lot here. The first new tidbit is Jay discussing how OPA extremists are trying to set Ceres Station on fire. In the Expanse universe, the OPA is described as part social movement, part wannabe nation, and part terrorist network, and totally lacking an institutional conscience. I'll leave it there to avoid spoilers, but they are a very important group that'll make an appearance in-game. Jay also mentions that the belt has a bar guide that is really big, so maybe we'll get to hit up the bars on Ceres too. Here's the most intriguing line though. Jay is tired of drinking with Luciana. Up until now, we haven't heard of Luciana before, even from other trailers. So maybe she's one of our companions on the Gemini crew. If I had to guess, my bet would be Luciana being the most prominent female character in this illustration, especially if both the twins share a past with her. Regardless, after this, the trailer continues with a few shots of multiple places, starting with Pinkwater 4 again. We see a docking area, followed by an icy environment that I think are the lower levels of Ganymede. Ganymede's crops would need a lot of water, so this could be where some of it ices over. Then, there's another shot of a Pinkwater 4 area, as seen on the left back wall. There's a screen that says out of service, so maybe this is after the chaos goes down that we had seen earlier. And then, our final shot of the trailer. A beautiful rendering of Ganymede with green foliage and a water feature. Now, not much can be analyzed in this last section, featuring multiple locations. However, the real highlight here is the captain's final decision on their shore leave destination.
Forget Ceres then. My suggestion? Eros.
So obviously, Eros is the worst possible destination the captain could have chosen. The official description of Osiris Reborn says that we're in the boots of a Pinkwater security mercenary, caught in the chaos of Eros Station's deadly lockdown. So I guess the nice relaxing shore leave is going to go exactly like how Shepard's went during the Citadel DLC.
As shore leave goes, this hasn't been the most relaxing.
And Osiris Reborn Shore Leave is going to be even worse, especially when we take a closer look at the hidden story within the trailer. Throughout the trailer, we saw very clean shots that highlighted the environment's positives, but very subtly, there were pretty dark undertones, like the Pinkwater scene of 2 people shot in both corners of the room. So taking everything in, here's how I see the first part of Osiris Reborn playing out. This conversation we heard between the captain and Jay on where to take shore leave could be the very first sequence of the game, but obviously not with this exact audio. Potentially, their shore leave will start with just the 2 of them on Eros, and maybe their friend Luciana too. Then, after they arrive on Eros, the deadly lockdown will begin, and only after that will they begin to gather their crew. This is kind of what the description of the game implies when it says after getting caught on Eros, from there we'll gather a crew, command a powerful ship, and carve our own path across a fractured solar system. So this means that the Gemini crew we saw in the earlier trailer were probably recruited after the lockdown on Eros. And after the crew leaves Eros, then we'll begin to stumble across the fractured locations of Pinkwater, Ganymede, and Ceres. All of these darker themes on Pinkwater's command center being eliminated and Ganymede being upheaved will show the Expanse universe's true colors. Martian Marines just itching to fight against their Earther counterparts, and OPA extremists that don't want any inners on Ceres Station. In a nutshell, Osiris Reborn will be full of Earthers, Martians, and Belters ready to destroy one another, and all it'll take is one single spark. Now what's fascinating about this is that the very first trailer tease we got is probably after the Eros incident takes place, which means all those hints about what Osiris Reborn means is only discovered after the first part of the game. If you haven't caught the hints in the first trailer yet, watch this video next for a full breakdown of everything, including what Osiris Reborn could mean. See you there.